This is geologist David A. Johnston, 13 hours before his death at the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. David Alexander Johnston was an American United States Geological Survey volcanologist who was killed by the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in the U.S. state of Washington. A principal scientist on the USGS monitoring team, Johnston was killed in the eruption while manning an observation post 6 miles away on the morning of May 18, 1980. He was the first to report the eruption, transmitting Vancouver. This is it. Before he was swept away by a lateral blast, despite a thorough search, Johnston's body was never found, but state highway workers discovered remnants of his USGS trailer in 1993. As one of the first members of the U.S. Geological Survey monitoring team to arrive at Mount St. Helens, and the scientist in charge of volcanic gas studies, Dave spent long hours working on and close to the mountain. Ironically, he was caught at an observation post that was considered relatively safe. From his experience with active Alaskan volcanoes, Dave understood better than most the hazards of explosive volcanism. At the same time, he repeatedly voiced the conviction that adequate hazard evaluations require accepting the dangers of on-site monitoring of active volcanic processes. The volcano monitoring effort of which Dave was part helped persuade the authorities first to limit access to the area around the volcano, and then to resist heavy pressure to reopen it, thereby holding the May 18th death toll to a few tens instead of hundreds or thousands. Born and raised in Illinois, Dave Johnston graduated in 1971 from the University of Illinois, Urbana, with highest honors and distinction in geology. His strong interest in volcanism began with his first geologic project studying Precambrian volcanic rocks in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. This interest in volcanic phenomena intensified with subsequent work in the San Juan volcanic field of southwestern Colorado and on Augustine Volcano in Lower Cook Inlet, Alaska. The Augustine study was the basis for his doctoral dissertation, completed in 1978 at the University of Washington, Seattle. Following completion of his PhD at the University of Washington, Dave increasingly focused on the fundamental role of gases, or volatiles, in volcanic processes as he continued his studies on Augustine and began work on Katmai Volcano, Alaska. His work on volcanic gases brought him to the U.S. Geological Survey in 1978, where he was assigned to expand the program for monitoring volcanic emissions in Alaska and the Cascade Range. A specific objective of such monitoring is to test whether or not changes in gas geochemistry might provide precursory clues of impending eruptive activity. Thus, it was natural that, when Mount St. Helens reawakened in March 1980, Dave Johnston was one of the first geologists on the volcano. Dave Johnston was an exemplary scientist, and his approach to his work was a model for all, dedicated and hardworking, with meticulous organization and observation followed by careful evaluation and interpretation. At the same time, Dave was unaffectedly genuine, with an infectious curiosity and enthusiasm. But perhaps his most essential quality was the ability to dissipate cynicism. He looked for, saw, and thereby encouraged the best in all of us. Dave would have expected us to carry on without him, learning all we could from Mount St. Helens and applying the knowledge gained to other volcanoes for the betterment of the science and public safety.